Hello, welcome to Almost in Focus. I almost forgot the name for a second there.
Start.
You are joined as always by me, Tom, and
Me, Toby, the other half of the dynamic duo.
oh,
And this week as well, we have.
yeah. And this week we're joined by someone I've met a couple of times actually without realizing quite who we were to each other. So yeah, we have Arno, and Arno, you've joined us from a Vintage Visual. Where in the world are you?
We're located in Estonia, the capital Tallinn, a bit
Oh
north.
wow! So yeah, we've got a bit of a time difference here. So did you go to Estonia on holiday a couple of years ago?
Yeah, a couple of years
Or
ago.
am I making
yeah.
that up?
No, I did Estonia. When was that? Fair few years ago now, but yes. It's on my ticked bit of the map. But yeah.
Yeah, I've never quite made it that far myself, but welcome. Yeah, all right. So Toby, what have you done
Go for it.
photographically this week?
I've been shameful and done very little. I've done some writing this week on a topic that we've discussed in the podcast before, which I'm hoping to get published. Just a little discussion around disability in photography, like we talked about a couple of weeks ago. It was nice to do a bit of academia rather than out with the camera. Basically, I'm a warm weather kind of photographer, and when it's chucking it down with the rain and muddy, I've decided that it's time to stay inside. Above and beyond that, it's been nice. I did a studio workshop with some students, so the actual best photographs I've taken in the last week have been other people's photos. Essentially, the kids have been taking the pictures and I've just been the puppet master, I suppose, directing them. On the upside, I've got a new staff photo, which is rather good and better than everyone else's. So those of you that know how very vain I am, that's really quite a positive thing for me. But photographically, that's been about it. I had a student try and do a contact sheet for the first time this week, which was interesting. I got 97 messages on Teams while they were trying to do the contact sheet, and I was teaching another class, but they did actually manage to pull it off. So it's been nice. The kids are really going for Darkroom at the moment, and I'm enjoying that. I've had year groups where they've not touched the Darkroom at all, and this year group are obsessed with it. So I'm kind of loving life because it's chemicals everywhere and wet prints all over the place. So I'm happy as a pig in muck, really. What about you this week? What's your photographic adventure been?
Not masses. I was testing out a flash adapter for my Alfie camera. That's just gone on the market, so I was doing some review stuff of that, and got some images developed a couple of days ago from there with some lucky film. And I did some cyanotypes with my students, so a little bit of historical stuff. We're doing some ceramics with it as well. So cyanotype onto clay, making jewelry. It's quite fun. But yeah, I haven't got out with a camera much myself over the last few days. But hopefully, with the Christmas break coming up, I will. So yeah, so that's us two. And as we said, we have a guest. So we have Arno. Arno, I know you're involved in analog photography. That's what we're going to have a chat about. Do you do much photography yourself?
I used to do much more before Vintage Visual because life is quite hectic during the making a company. But yeah, here and then I try to make photos, mostly like Tobias. I like warm weather and mainly like travel photography kind of thing. But yeah, for instance, 2 weeks ago, one Japanese retailer visited us, and they're happening to make a 120 film. So they gave us 4 rows, and I got the camera for that. So I
lovely.
took photos on that. But yeah, like mainly in photography, like I'm in Darkroom and developing different algorithms to follow the chemicals perfectly on different temperatures. So this is the main work.
So for those who haven't got a clue what we're talking about, we mentioned you're from a company called Vintage Visual. Who are Vintage Visual? What do you do?
So Vintage Visual is a startup, and we are doing like film processors for home users. So we started this project was initially my thesis work in design studies, and I happened to like find the concept worth doing. So now we're here the product what we're selling globally all over the world. So.
It's a great thing. I was telling, because Toby, you haven't used one of these, have you?
No, I've experienced watching you use them, and I've seen the YouTubes, but I haven't had a play as yet myself.
Okay. So This is a home developer, as you say, which works with the Patterson processing system. So when you launched this as a Kickstarter, that was 2.5, 3 years ago, must be now?
Yeah, it was 2023, Tom.
Yeah. And I saw it and I got, oh, that's brilliant. And I backed it and I saw it as an opportunity to work with color film more because the cost of processing color film was too much for me to do on a regular basis. So that was the plan. Since then, I've been doing stuff with Analog Wonderland and through them, I get discounted film developing. So by the time the Kickstarter had completed and you'd gone through all the production and you got the products out into the world, I was getting a nice discount on my film processing. So I've never actually used my processor for color film, which is the whole reason I backed it. But what I have used it for is black and white, and nearly every roll of film from 35mm up to medium format and some 5.4 I've tried doing with it as well, has gone through it. And it's brilliant. It is really, really clever for a few things for me. And I think were you saying you designed this?
Yeah, correct.
Wow. I need to get you to sign mine then.
Yeah.
So it works horizontally. So rather than having 1.5 liters of chemistry for 5 rolls of film, I'm only using 600ml. So I'm using less chemistry. So it's cost saving over time in that respect. But what's really clever is, and this is why it's so good for color film, and my students, they use one where I teach for color processing now, is that rather than having to worry about keeping the chemistry at a constant 32 degrees or whatever it is, I can't remember what it is for color film.
Yeah.
There we go, 30. Yeah, I knew it was 30 something. It constantly checks the temperature and it will adjust the time. Where did you get that idea?
So it was rather long, concept generation part in my thesis work. So what I was studying was design thinking, basically. And design thinking teaches you how to create concepts what matter, basically. And my teachers a lot made me a lot to speak with the people, the literature, and understand the problem really deeply, like go really deep into the problem, what's on the market at the moment. So I found out that mainly people don't develop color film at home because it's especially because of the temperature part. It's almost impossible to hold plus minus 0.3 tolerance. What instructions say usually when I pour in, it's like drops already 3 degrees or something like that. So I found out the problem, and the problem was that it's really hard to develop color film at home. So I had the problem now, and I started to seek what could be the potential solutions to do that. And then mainly all the other products maintain the temperature through the water bath. But I happened to discover the first Ilford time and temperature graph, which illustrates what is the time when the temperature is plus or minus 2 or whatever degrees.
Yeah.
And then I found like the lab box, the small developing tank. In his data sheet, there was also about C41. It was totally wrong, actually, the graph there, but it gave me the idea, and from there it grew and grew and grew, and I got really good positive feedback on the concept, and yeah, it was the first validation that it's something it's worth doing.
Yeah, I have to say, I found it to be more useful than I anticipated through black and white. So if you haven't developed black and white film at home, it's much easier than color. You don't need really any specialist equipment. You just need a developing tank, and you need a developer, something to use as a stop. I normally just use water because I'm cheap, and then a fix. And even with something that's quite straightforward, photographically straightforward, it's just makes my life so easy. I can have a cup of tea at the same time, and sometimes I even make dinner while I'm developing film, which is health and safety, maybe not great, but
Setting a great example.
yes, I know. please make sure that if you are developing and cooking at the same time, do not use the same utensils for your chemistry.
Our darkroom tech is rolling around in his grave, I reckon.
It did nearly happen once, actually. I was making a pasta bake, and what I'd used to mix the developer, I reached for it instinctively when I was about to stir the pasta, and I stopped myself at the last moment.
Yeah, don't do that.
No.
Yeah, it's not a good look going to the hospital.
And so we said about it with black and white, and the temperature control is really useful there, and the chemistry saving is really useful. We said it was C41. What else can it do?
What else?
The processor. What else can you put through here?
So yeah, like black and white. It also brings the consistency. I have one teacher in Tallinn who started using that, and he's really happy because like with students so far he had like two variables. Is it the exposure correct? And second, is the development correct? But now like the development is out of the equation because it makes much more constant the process. So yeah, C41, we do 6, color positive, ECN2, and now 4, paper processing or color paper processing. So
I haven't tried that yet. We used to do a lot of color printing when we were at university, Toby and I, and I've lost so much paper to bad color balance, and so I'm kind of scared to go back down that route. But that's something that is completely beyond what can normally be done at home. So it's really exciting that it's in such a unit.
It's the fact it's a small and compact unit as well. It's not going to take up your whole, because there's older versions. There's a variant of Ilford did something along the lines, which is basically a kettle. I don't know if you guys have seen that developing tank, which is supposed to keep everything the right temperature, and it just cooks things and melts plastic. Don't know if you've come across that. What's it called? Anyway, processing heater, and it's huge. It takes up half a room. You haven't got a functional room if you've got it's just that. So the idea of something this size and this compact is brilliant, especially like you say for students and educational institutes, like you're saying about your old teacher being able to just have one variable, whether the exposure is correct or not, is a massive win. So I think in that respect, it's the sort of thing that lots of educational institutions are going to want to get their hands on. I mean, if you remember, Tom, using the old darkrooms at Newport, the colour machine was constantly having to be nursed along with bits of old bike and God knows what, because equipment like that is dying out and also very big and clunky. Now, our R4 processing was a room. It was a whole room for that. So the fact you can do it on your kitchen side is amazing.
Yeah, like schools are one part of our clients. The main problem with schools is usually they don't do any more color. They mostly make only black and white. It's kind of hard to sell them if they don't do that. But for instance, in Tallinn, there is Art Academy. They have Colenta RA4 processing machine to make paper prints, but they didn't have any development solution. So now they have Ago for that. So they can make C41 easily at school. But yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, as I say, our students use it for C41, and we use the Cine Steel kits, which are really, really straightforward. And we do have a color darkroom, but our RA4 machine has basically completely died. So the room doesn't really get any use now. Eventually, we would like to use the Ago, but we need to buy the paper adapter for it that you guys have designed. But what we tend to do is they'll use film if they want to, and then they'll scan it in on an Epson scanner, or they'll send it to our local lab, which is Analogue Wonderland, and get results from them. So they're still getting to learn those skills. They're still getting the opportunities of seeing what can be possible with very little space, which is really exciting. I have a question on the RA4. And this is the one thing that scares me away from going down this route, because I have a color enlarger in my darkroom here at home, is when you've gone through the process, so through the developer and is it a Blix for RA4? So a bleach fix scenario? Yeah.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Do I need to then wash out the tank and everything before doing the next print?
So yeah, the first is developer, then there is a bleach fix solution. Both are 1 minute, so the process is quite fast. And after that is the wash, which is 2 minutes. So we have to wash the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the process there.
Okay,
It's
so yeah,
quite much faster than black and white development.
yeah, it is, and that's. I mean, I'm just thinking back to when using an RA4 machine. I know that we were waiting far longer than 2 to 4 minutes for our prints to come through. So that's really speedy compared to what we were used to.
Yeah, these are also drying the paper, I think. So that's why
True
maybe.
enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe we just felt longer because we were just sitting there waiting and knowing it was going to be too green or too pink every single time.
Oh, you have to admit, our darkroom did actually have a wall that said "bang head here" for when it was all going wrong. Just a thing at the end of the darkroom with a bit of polystyrene, so you could really let your aggression out at the end of a day when you'd spent all day in the dark.
So I know you studied design, and that's where this came from. Did you have a strong interest in photography before then, or does that sort of come across as this is a possible market to design in?
Yeah, it's like I started making photos, I think, when I was, I don't know, 13 or something like that with digital cameras. But I didn't find like the language what speaks with me with
Yeah.
digital. And then I went to Australia in 2018, I think, to do so-called working holiday visa there. So basically you work in rural areas and then you travel a lot and then work again and then find some work somewhere to do. And I happened to try my father's old Zenith camera before that with black and white film. And like for me, it's like usually the first impression of analog photography is what amazes people is the colors, what it renders. Usually for me, like going to the Lightroom and messing up with different tiles, I usually really overtune my photos with digital process, but with analog, everything was kind of natural and at the same time punchy and nice looking, so call it. And yeah, I was traveling in Australia. I was taking more photos on film and because my design studies, I still had to do the thesis after my travels. It was for me, it was kind of easy option to do because I really loved analog photography and I'm an engineer by background and try to solve some problems because back then really good work was done by camera store. What's going on the market, where the analog is going, is it surviving or not? Back then they were speaking about that, and this kind of gave me a really good like macro overview of the whole fields. Yeah, then I saw that like the digitizing part was kind of missing because of the lab machines are dying out.
Yeah.
Then there was starting to come the DSLR scanning, but still like the development part, wasn't any solutions, especially for home users. So this kind of gave me the direction back then.
That's really cool. So was Australia like a gap year? So were you sort of mid-study or was you just about to start?
So I basically finished my studies. I wanted to leave the country, just wander around and see the life, what's going outside of the Estonia and meet people and enjoy some life also. But yeah,
I'm going to have to dive in. I have to say, the fact that you used a Zenit as your first film camera and still decided to work with film is a miracle. Because they are difficult cameras to love, in my experience. That speaks highly of your dedication to it. So, I know when I've used Zenits or had students use Zenits, it's not often ended with a smile. There's often you've got to have really loved film to have got into it after using that.
Yeah, I used to buy from eBay the cameras and like half of the cameras were broken, so I had to send those back.
Yeah, I think we've all gone through. Anyone who's into analog photography's gone through a phase like that. I mean, the amount of cameras I've bought off eBay and they arrive and you think, this is going to be the best thing ever, and it's some moldy, broke thing. But I think sometimes when you get an image out of a camera like that, if it is something that's falling apart and you get an image out of it, you feel, and I think this is with film photography as well, when you create something using either an old camera or using film itself and you get a good image, you feel like that's a success. Whereas you expect every digital photograph you take to be good because it should be. And I think this is kind of where the analog world is becoming. It's having a resurgence. I mean, yourselves, Analog Wonderland, Not Quite North. There's a lot of companies appearing now to operate in the analog world. That there was kind of a time when, like you said, that there was a real worry that film photography was going to disappear. And I think now there's a massive resurgence in it. I don't know. Do you think it's younger people now, or do you reckon it's old biddies like me?
Like our solution is mostly like 40 plus people because it's like getting people or youngsters to load the film into the camera is kind of hard already. So we're not talking about development.
Yeah.
It's totally different scale.
Yeah, fair point.
So, but yeah, like seeing in Instagram, it's a lot of youngsters. Like for me, like I think what worked mostly with film is like the appearance is the first part. Okay, you choose the film before you shoot, and like what's the appearance comes from there. But also it kind of takes out like the whole shuffling through your folders, looking the good photo. You're taking only few photos of the subject, not 10 or 20.
Yeah.
So basically already like the full roll of film is already a photo album for you. So it saves me time actually. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. To be fair, because you only take when you're processing it yourself and you're shooting 36 frames or 12 frames or 10, depending on what you're shooting. You're more selective, aren't you? I think when you're making those pictures. Sorry, that was me diving in. Tom, sorry.
No, I don't think I've ever heard someone say about film saving time over digital, but the way you put it, it makes perfect sense. And I'm thinking when I'm in my darkroom, if I want to find the image I want to print, I just hold the sheet of negatives up to the light and I say, all right, it's that one. Whereas if I'm here at my computer, then I'm going, through Lightrooms. Is it that one? Is it that one? And then scrolling down, you're searching keywords, trying to find the one you want. And in a way, yeah, it is much quicker to look at a whole set of film and go, yes, that's the frame. Before you start printing. I was going to ask. I forgot what I was going to ask. Toby, you've done it again.
I know. It's what I'm here for. I'm here to cause chaos. Well, while you're thinking, I'm going to ask the question: where next?
Go for it.
What's the next stage? What's the next products that we're going to see, or is that under wraps? We're not allowed to know.
usually companies don't tell before it's out.
But is there things in the pipeline? Sorry, go on.
Of course, there is.
Yeah.
You have to make products if you're this kind of company because you're gonna die out if you don't. But yeah, last one was the Super 8. Tom had also his hand on that at the beginning a little bit.
Yes, I'm very excited by that one.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with the Super 8 product because we found a way to squeeze 15 meters into the Patterson 8 tank in a really affordable way. So I'm really excited, and the market also seems to like that a lot. Even like schools from US are already getting 2 reels at a time for their classes.
So how does the Super 8 one work?
So yeah, I can can't see probably in the podcast, but I can explain maybe better when you see that. So basically it's like 2 reels or helical spirals what go inside to each. And basically you load first on that, on the inner reel, and then you place it into the outer reel, and then you continue winding on the outer reel.
Okay, so unlike a Patterson reel which feeds itself using a ball bearing system, this is one where you have to rotate this whole spiral, keeping the film in the groove as you go round. And then when you get to the end, you slot it into a second spiral and you continue the loop. That's a really clever design.
That's brilliant design. I love that.
So yeah.
So usually cinema film have been developed mainly with Lomo tanks or some kind of similar things. These are really hard to load because compared to the Patterson, you don't start from outside, but you attach the film leader into the inner core and start to wind it and hold it on angle, and you have to do it total darkness and you mess it up. It's kind of hard to understand. So with that, it's a bit easier load also. So yeah, we're really excited about that product. So
as Arno mentioned, I'm just going to blow my own trumpet here. So there is a Discord for people who have the vintage visual products, and one of the forums on there was to suggest new products, new accessories, etc. Myself and a couple of other people were talking about other film formats, and I said, what about Super 8? And there was a bit of backwards and forwards between me, possibly you, Arno, and a couple of other people about how that could feasibly work, and that's what led to this. I helped invent it. Yeah. No, I didn't. You did all you did all the hard work.
He's not shut up about this for over a year.
I'm excited about it. Come in.
Every chance he's had, he's like, "Do you know who came up? Do you know who mentioned? I suggested this. I've heard this every morning. Whenever we get onto processing, do you know? I suggested an idea, and they're doing it. Yeah, that was me. That was the ego. It does look brilliant, though.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah, when you want to get into it, so we can send you one for free. So thank you for that. Yeah, sure.
Oh, thank you, mate.
Oh, you jammy sod.
I know. So why this is so cool is Super 8 film. If you listen to this and you don't know the ones of Super 8, it's a really fun video format to work with, but it's expensive. The film is expensive. It's only 3 minutes, 15 seconds per cartridge. And when you've paid for the film, you've paid for the processing, you're up to about £70, £80 spent straight away because the processing is so expensive. So your reel saves so much money and makes Super 8 a viable way of working for a lot of video makers. And I know where I teach, we've got a big media department, and occasionally there's students there who want to work with film and they've got links with Kodak and so on. So this gives them an opportunity to maybe use the processor we have and to encourage more people to work with cine film. So it's very, very cool.
It's
16mm film next.
Half of the 15 meters could be fit to 8-reel tank. We need to make a bigger tank to fit it there, but yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Super 8 is like doing it at home is like you usually want to digitize it, but like the digitizing part is kind of missing on the market. There are like Wolverine and Kodak reels digitizers, which cost around €300 or something like that. But you're not getting really good quality like video out of that. So this is kind of problem currently on the market. What I like to say is like develop positive and show it on the projector, and this experience is also really amazing and inspiring to look at your footage on your wall. So this is also possible. Like for black and white, you can do reversal don't use Tri-X, get the Wolfen film because the Tri-X needs really hard bleacher. But Wolfen film can be developed, for instance, with ADOX Scala developer. So you get the positive. And yeah, Kodak sells Ektachrome, what you can develop in E6, and you can also show it on your wall. So
yeah, the Ektachrome stuff is lovely. I've used some of that in the past as well. It's really nice film, very nostalgic.
Yeah, really vibrant and
it's the whole nostalgia of using this gear as well, isn't it? You're breathing life back into tech that's been sat on the shelf. So there's that nostalgia element, but I think it's like everything. Like we said before, Tommy, it's like vinyl coming back. People want analog artwork or analog art, I guess is the word. Art's maybe the wrong word, but you get what I mean. Yeah, the people have nostalgia, don't they? People want vinyl records, great videos, analog photo. It's that whole creative process as well. You make it from start to finish and you feel like you've been properly involved. So yeah, you're breathing new life into old kit, which I kind of love. Because I don't know about you, but I've got about 3 Super 8s sat in the loft that I've picked up at car boot sales, or somebody said, I've got this old camera, and you go, yeah, I'll have it. Whatever it is, I'll have it. And so yeah, it's nice that they can be actually processed.
For me, it's also really interesting, like you said, like the care is nostalgic. For me, it's not nostalgic, but it's interesting, like to see how things work. I'm a mechanical engineer also, but like understanding different process. With digital, everything is hidden from you, basically. You don't understand the algorithms, what's going on. Okay, you have the buttons and you can navigate the user interface, but with mechanical stuff, basically can see what's going on, and that there is beauty in it. So and yeah, like different processes, learning how to do black and white reversal, for instance, or how to put the film in the enlarger or projector, and seeing how it rolls through it. So
Yeah, no, I completely
it's
get
kind
that.
of
Black and white reversal is my next one to learn. I've got a few rolls that I've done, and they're sitting in a tin, and I'm just too scared to do them. It's a process I've never done before.
It always say it's
depends what
beauty,
film
isn't
you
it?
have.
Yeah.
I think it's Fomapan R is the one I've done. So there
Mhm.
is a kit that they sell, and
Mm.
I need to buy it and be brave, I suppose.
Bite the bullet. What's the worst that could happen? I think.
This is true. I suppose I could put it in the pasta. That'll be
Yeah, as I
terrible.
say, worst could happen is you could give everyone poisoning. But like I was saying about the beauty of mechanical things, I think no one in the future is going to go, oh, do you remember the 5D Mark II or whatever? You know, with the same way that we look at these like analog cameras, these analog bits of kit. I mean, there is a real, like you say, when it's mechanical and you can see it working, there's a beauty to the design because it has to be beautiful to actually work. Even like those so old, I mean, we were talking the other week, weren't we, Tom, about old Soviet Union rangefinders that are
Yeah.
amazingly beautiful. I mean, not very good cameras, but beautiful when you take them apart. Inside, there's a real beauty to them, like clockworks. And I think this is what you're sort of saying, isn't it? That beauty of the actual mechanical. It's really fascinating. Okay. Do you think there's a danger of gatekeeping with analog tech and people sort of gatekeeping by sort of making it something that is too highbrow or too costly for people to get into? Do you reckon products like yours are kind of democratizing things, making it so that everyone can access it?
Like I think there are different levels,
Mm.
like democratizing, like analog photography. Like the best is the lab because it's much cheaper at like initial buy-in point is cheaper. So, but like if you're speaking about analog photography more broadly,
Yeah.
like because analog isn't only C41 or black and white
Mm.
with one developer. Analog is much more. Like you can choose many different paths you can go with analog. So explore really a lot of processes. In that way, I think our product makes this easier to explore and gives the consistency a bit more. But yeah, like
Yeah.
the people, our clients are really happy about our product. So because it has helped them a lot so far. So they can learn at first the color processing, and it also, we try to inspire people to get to different processes, to start something new out of that. So something like we have seen people who have done E6 and they never thought they will do it at home.
Yeah. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, I remember my dad telling me about when he was a teenager and he'd be processing E6 film in his kitchen sink. And I'm just imagining how much easier it would have been for him trying to keep the chemistry at a reliable, maybe not perfect, but reliable temperature with the kind of technology that has come about now for home developing. It's a huge change.
I have to say, if nothing else, today has inspired me to go and buy one of your systems now. So if nothing else, you've made one sale because I have to say I want to go and explore some of these other processes in a way that it's like you say, labs are great. You can send your film off and you get it back, but actually you are
Mm.
losing part of the control. And this is what this gives you, isn't it? You've got control of every stage and reliable control instead of jam jars in the sink, like like I say, our parents.
Mm.
So yeah, no, that's brilliant. Thank you for that. That's answered my question really well. So yeah, gold star, well done.
Thank
But no, yeah, you're absolutely right. To buy the processor, it is an expensive outlay, and if it wasn't for the opportunities that were there when you did the Kickstarter, I probably wouldn't have made that leap initially myself. But I was also looking at the potential long-term savings with the chemistry as well. The reliability is the key thing for me. And one of the joys of working with film is that latency, is that moment of how have they come out as you take the lid off the tank, as the print appears in the developing tray. That has it worked? And it takes some of that risk out of it because you know the chemistry is correct. You know it's not going to be too hot or too cold. The time is right because all of that is pre-programmed in with either the presets in the system or the ones that you can add yourself. And I know, I mean, I still haven't done any of the software updates. I know there's been a couple, but before the first big update came out, I put loads of recipes in of my own, and so it's working how I want it. And I'm kind of nervous to go and start doing the updates and then not being able to find any of my recipes. So I haven't dared touch it. I know I need to. And it's great. It just, I've got times in there I always use Rodnell as my developer. And I've got times in there for HP5, Kentmere 400, Roly, Retro, which are all about the same time. I've got one in there for Ferrania films that I like. And, I just have to remember which of those presets is the one for the film I'm using at that point. And it's just, it just takes all the stress out of remembering how much I need and how long to do it for. Or, have I miscounted my minutes? Do I need to give it a minute extra just in case? No, it does it all for me. So it's an absolutely brilliant concept, very well executed. Yeah, absolutely well done.
Yeah, with software updates, like with any product, you're constantly getting feedback on, and like initially the product isn't ready when you come to the market. So this, like, you try to get the hardware as correct as possible.
Yeah.
Sometimes not. It doesn't happen like that. Usually not. It's like one engineer from one engineering company said, like, why is hardware called hardware? Because it's hard to make hardware. Software is much easier. But yeah, like, we got the feedback from the people and we try to make the product better on the software side and the hardware side also.
Yeah. So I know the big software update from the version that I'm currently running to what's now out there is that because it's rotating the film while it's developing, your developing time is 10% less, is it? Or 15% less?
15, yeah.
15. So, where I've done this, I've got the calculator out and I've done all my times to make sure I get it all right. And now there's an option, is there in there, to switch between being, the standard time and for rotary, where it compensates automatically rather than me having to rely on my terrible math skills.
Yeah, like it's only for black and white developers that when you're doing the rotary processing, the time has to be 15% less. So people were asking about that, why we have to calculate, because like Ago could do it himself. So we added the feature. So now every black and white developer time is reduced by 15% if you enable it from the settings. Makes life a bit easier. You just look it from master chart, the time.
Yeah.
Insert it into Argo and then you're good to go.
Fantastic.
I have to say, I think it's really good, the back and forth between yourselves and the customer base to actually listen and develop a product with customers it's clearly working. It's clearly a positive thing and something that a lot of the bigger companies don't really engage with in the same way, I don't feel. You don't see Kodak sort of asking for feedback. They just throw a product out and go, it's ready, roll with it. It's really nice to see this kind of, like you say, the product isn't always ready when it comes out, but you're taking this advice on board from the people who are using it. I mean, even if some of them do continually tell you how amazing it was, that it was their idea for something, I don't know. No names mentioned, Tom.
So I've got a question. I just thought of this. How supportive were Patterson? So the funnel has to have 3 holes in it, which isn't a normal feature of Patterson. And I know initially it was to come with like a little guide to drill your own holes, but then suddenly it was a case of, oh no, Patterson are providing all these. How did that conversation or that collaboration come about?
Yeah, Patterson has been really supportive, and initially in the end of the meeting, they said, "Thank you for choosing our tank." So they have helped us as much as they can, and so far everything is going really smoothly. We can buy the tanks and their products directly, so we can sell those cheaply to other globally basic losses. So yeah, they're
It's good to hear, because you do wonder about sort of pre-existing companies and whether they want to engage with new stuff. So it's actually really, really positive for the whole film industry. I say film photography industry. That everyone wants to work together to try and get these products out and more people accessing film. I guess is the ultimate goal. The more people shooting, the more people buying these products. So you say that's obviously happy.
like really, we're quite afraid what Patterson will tell us. Maybe they want to screw us a little bit or something like that. But like if you start to think about it's only like a win-win collaboration because we sell logos and they can sell more their tanks and equipment. It's a no-brainer basically.
Yeah, it's really positive, and I say, and it works out for everyone who wants to shoot film. So it's a massive win. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Right, Tom?
Right. Okay. I think we'll call it to a close because I know how incredibly late it is for you.
Well past
Thank you.
bedtime.
Yeah, it's getting close to mine, so you must be exhausted. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for continuing to work with the film community to work on new developments and new ideas to keep the product growing. If you are listening to this still and you are curious about the processor, go to is it vintagevisual.eu? Is that right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
And as a little extra bit in there is if you use the code TBW120 on any of the products there, you save 5%. So there's a nice little additional thing there as well. So thank you again. Thank you for listening to the suggestions on the Super 8 as well. I will still keep telling you about that, Toby, in the mornings. Don't worry.
Yeah, I won't forget. Don't worry.
And yeah, thanks very much.
Thank you. Do you want to stick the website on the show notes as well, so that people can click on and go straight?
Yeah, I will do. Yeah, I'll make sure those links and everything is on the show notes on Spotify and everywhere else you are listening to this, except Apple, because they still won't sort out their customer service.
Yes, thanks, Apple. Job on. Thank you very much. That's been really informative, and thank you for tolerating the technological difficulties from this end.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
Like, I had one question also.
Yeah, go for it.
You both said that you have the workshops, or like what you're doing on Analog Sphere, like you're teaching also something and
so we're both teachers. I teach in a further education college in Buckinghamshire.
I teach in the north in a college and secondary school. So I teach 11 to 18-year-olds. And so we teach the photographic darkroom and stuff there as well. So yeah, that's our day job. But yeah, so we're desperately trying to make sure that the next generation come up shooting film.
Yeah. And then beyond that, I've got a darkroom here at home, and I do monthly live streams. So I had to put that on hold for the last couple of months due to an injury. That should hopefully be starting up again in the new year.
Maybe the live stream.
Yeah, like if you have some ideas like regarding Argo and vintage visual products, we're happy to share with you because you have your audience. We can give you a quite good discount on things, or even if you're using it in Instagram or YouTube, we can give you for free. So widen your analog sphere a little bit. It helps somehow.
That would be very helpful.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Definitely be in touch about that. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
Okay. Right. Let's call it a night. Let this poor guy go to bed.
Yeah. Thanks very much.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. So it was my first. You're
most welcome.
Yes.
You've done remarkably well. Don't worry. You've survived. The next podcast will be so much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Fantastic.
Cool. All right. Thanks again, Arno. And stay in touch. And actually, one last question. Will we be seeing Vintage Visual at the photography show this year?
It's in March or?
Yeah, it's March.
Yeah, March.
We're not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not sure.
Okay,
we were in Germany in October or November. When was it? Like Imaging World. It was quite good actually, but yeah, like going on affairs is quite expensive affair. So yeah, I don't know.
I've heard that from a few other people as well. So if you are, it'll be great to see you. Maybe we'll grab a coffee and have a catch up in person.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll
And
be there,
if
won't
not,
we?
we'll stay in touch anyway. Yeah, we'll both.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thank you. See you
Thanks very
later.
much.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.